House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
Value, by its nature, is a very valuable thing. See what we did there? It's all one big circular reference in Excel terms. All right, we have Liz and Gina here from RE/MAX Diamond Realty Guam. We're not going to be talking about spreadsheets. I guess we can, because when you talk about how we actually determine value of a property, I mean, it might help if you had somebody compute that. But exactly how do you put that together, and who do you go through? Because, I mean, you guys know me. I'm a cheap guy, so like I don't want to spend like a ton of money, but I do want to get fair value for what I have.
That's right.
Everybody does, yeah.
You would hope.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've been told before that some people say, you know, getting it appraised is kind of pointless because if you go through 5 different appraisers, you get 5 different valuations, or, you know, how do I even know what's correct?
Well, it just depends on you, for example, if you bought your house 5 years ago, what is it worth today? For whatever purpose. Sometimes people plan on giving it to their children, or they want to work on getting an equity loan, or they just want to see where have we progressed since the time we bought it, and what is the current market value. So there, you know, the government, of course, have the last assessment that they did for value for property was in 2015. Some people will go back to that value, but 2015 versus 2018, the values may have changed. Now, how is that determined? It's determined by what properties have sold in your neighborhood. So, for example, if you're living up at Barragata Heights, normally the values, if we do a market analysis, it would be based on what properties have sold in your neighborhood of equal number of bedrooms and bathrooms, size of the home, and, you know, even the neighborhood. So we would check what properties have sold within a window of 6 months to 1 year. And that will give me an idea of what the value is of your home.
So there's direct value, but there's also relative value.
Yes.
Okay, I did not know that.
And the other important factor is, you know, we look at what has happened with your property since 2015 to today's date. It might have gone up, it might have gone down. And your question was, well, who do you go to, right? Do you get an appraiser?
If my Uncle Tom is like just good at that kind of thing, you know, he used to work in like land management and he's retired now, you know, can he do that, or, you know, do you have to have a license?
It really depends on what purpose why do you need the value? Because we get those questions all the time. People call us and say, hey, Gina, my house is in this location. What do you think it's worth? And yes, I can come and I could take a look at the property and I could give you a valuation, because we do it's called comparative market analysis. We could do a broker's price opinion. They're the same animal, basically. And what we're doing is we're looking at your property, and this is what an appraiser does. They look at your property, they compare it to what's in the neighborhood, what is sold, what is similar to your property, and location and size is important. But I'm finding in this market, what has been really relevant too in this market is finishing. The finishing really determines the price per square foot of that property. You could have the same property in the same neighborhood, and one is selling at $150 a square foot, and the other has sold at $250 a square foot. And it's basically the same neighborhood, the same size, but it's a different finishing. So the quality of the material. So who are you going to get your valuation from? Are you going to hire an appraiser? My thing is, it depends on what you need it for. Are you just curious about what your home is worth, or do you perhaps just need it so that you could send it to your insurance company? Because, you know, you bought your home 10 years ago, and you want to make sure you're insured for the right amount.
Well, here's a hypothetical, right? Say I've got property deeded to me, inheritance, whatever like that, and it's family property. So I want, you know, obviously the intent would be, because of sentimental value and everything like that, it's meant to be kept in the family. I don't want to rip off my relatives and everything like that, but I still want to get, you know, at least as a bare minimum, fair value for that.
And that's where we come in to do an analysis. And as what Gina was putting, as she mentioned, so if you might have bought it with regular vinyl tiles, and then a year later you upgrade it and you put ceramic tiles or granite countertops. your values are different depending on the finishing that you put into the property. So if you renovated and did a full-blown renovation, of course, then you're comparing two different type home, whereas the upgraded home has higher value per square footage, as what Gina was talking about. So we always ask, have you done any upgrades? So if people call us and want us to do values, we look at what have you done. But we always do an inspection because we want to see where the values are based on the inspection. And an appraiser does the same thing.
Okay. And if I've never worked with an appraiser before, do I typically go through my realtors, or can I just call them like directly?
You can just call an appraiser, but you could either do that or just check, just to, you know, to satisfy your curiosity, what is it worth? And they would contact a realtor.
Yeah, you know, I had a situation recently where a family contacted me and said, Gina, I would like to get the valuation of our home because there are 7 of us that own it and we're going to sell it to one of the family members. So I said, absolutely, I'll do it for you. And, you know, sometimes we charge, sometimes we don't. It just depends on the circumstance. So I said, I absolutely would do it. But the family had a meeting and they decided we're going to get an appraiser to do it. So those are your alternatives. And the other alternative is, as Liz pointed out, 2015 was the last assessment. All properties were valued at that time. I must disclose, though, that the difference between 2015 and now
totally
is tremendous. So
big difference in values.
I wouldn't use that as my valuation. Yeah. I would want to check to make sure. Some areas have stayed the same, but most have not. So I would check. And then the other thing is we have found mistakes in the valuation with that assessment. There are some properties that should have been higher, some that should have been lower.
And the market keeps changing.
The market changes.
It's a moving target.
As always, what we always talk about in this segment, knowledge is power, so make sure you know. So thank you, ladies.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you for watching. We are out of time. Bye-bye.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E.